see where
I was. And then the environment was cleaned up.
The first time I was hearing about this stuff. Wow. It was totally new to me.
With social impact consulting. Hello everyone, my name is Efwa Elens Ede with Social Impact Consulting. I'm a development consultant with 20 years of experience working with NGOs, international NGOs, and bilateral agencies to work in project support, monitoring and evaluation, and civil society strengthening. So now, I saw that local NGOs lack the capacity to manage large-scale projects, which can in turn impact their various communities because they have the connection based on their backgrounds. So this made me create this channel so that I can add value to you for free once you subscribe to this channel and get notified of upcoming videos. I look forward to hearing from you. Hello everyone. How you all doing today? Welcome again to another episode of the Development Sector Series, which is Devsectorseries. Now, if you're looking for all our episodes of Devsectorseries, you can go on Facebook, visit the hashtag. You could go on LinkedIn, visit the hashtag, and YouTube, just go on Social Impact Consulting with the big blue S. So make sure you like and share this live streaming so we can get these to more people. So for those of you on Facebook, please follow Social Impact Consulting on Facebook. And those of you on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe and click on the bell to be notified when we want to go live. This helps the algorithm share this to more people as suggested videos. Okay? So in addition to that, please let me know where you're watching from so that I can thank you personally. So what you do now is that just make sure that you stay tuned for today. So for those of us here in Nigeria, we concluded the Anambra elections. And now we're heading towards the 2023 national elections and the gubernatorial elections in Ekiti and Osun State. You're seeing all over the place people talking about their interest in running for different offices, running for president, even within the political parties. Right now, political parties are getting together, trying to get their corporate governance together in terms of who the chairman is going to be and just the executive committee. So today, I will be speaking to an active leader and development practitioner based in Anambra State. Because what I've noticed about Anambra State is that election tends to set the tone for the other gubernatorial elections and the national elections, okay? So Mr. Nonso Orakwe is the CEO of Catch Them Young Community Initiative, and he's also the coordinator of the Not Too Young to Run movement in Anambra State. So before I play his bio, make sure that if you have any questions for him, include them in the comment section, okay? So now, without further delay, I will play his video bio and we are going to get started. Again, thanks for coming. Make sure you let me know where you are watching from. Orakwe is a businessman, a leader, motivational speaker, environmentalist, and development practitioner based in Anambra State. He is the founder and CEO of Catch Them Young Community Initiative. Nonso is also the Anambra State coordinator of the Not Too Young to Run movement and takes a lead role in the voter education campaign, Vote Not Fight. He is also a political analyst that makes regular appearances at the Anambra Broadcasting Service. Nonso assumes the following roles. He is the CEO of Blessed Nopet Resources Limited, the founder of Exalted Multipurpose Cooperative Society Limited, and the Anambra State Chairman of the Civil Society on SDGs. Allow me to introduce to some and present to others Mr. Nonso Orakwe. CEO of Catch Them Young Community Initiative. Hello, Nonso. Welcome to the Development Sector Series. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you, Efua. This is awesome. This is awesome. The presentation, the introduction is awesome. Thank you very much.
No worries, no worries. So I appreciate the work that you're doing in Anambra State. Remember when we met in 2017, working on the voter education in Anambra State, where there was the gubernatorial election. So, really, your leadership in that state is really awesome, especially in the civil society space, and especially as an environmentalist as well. So thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to meet with you online here.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to get right to it. So now, you're an Anambrarian, and Anambrarians, are businessmen, and they make their mark around the world, running their businesses, doing their thing, and blazing the trail in that area. So what made you, yes, you're a businessman as well, but what made you venture into governance and the development sector?
Well, over the years, Anambra has been on the back space of governance. Some people will say Anambra is business-minded. They don't care about leadership. They don't care about governance. They don't care about politics. This is what happened over years. But at some point, people begin to pick interest because of the ugly trends that happens within the state and in the society at large. So as that was going on, young people were, they were nowhere to be found. They don't even care, just like our elders. But people like Peter, Obi, and a whole lot of them who deem it fit to begin to talk about governance. What are we even doing? All sectors are bad. Even when we said we are doing business, yes, business is thriving, but the leadership in business is not thriving. So they needed someone to make it more visible and more active, make it more global. So that is why people begin to say, we are not really doing well. Even at the national level, nobody is yet to be found. You see someone being on the national leadership for more than 3 tenures and stuff like that. So Anambrarians have to sit down, ask themselves questions, and begin to engage into governance. And what actually prompted me to look into it too is because we are not getting it right as young people. So young people, tends to give praises to our politicians in a way, in a manner that will not help their future. So that I said, this is not the way to go. Let me join the national body to bring something home. And that is where Yaga Africa, Samson Itodo, Kingsley Bangwell, and a whole lot of them begin to engage someone like Nonso Orakwe to go to Anambra and make things happen. And that is where we are today, because we have to come back to begin to do reorientation to these young people and our elders, the stakeholders. We are not left out. So they were actually, imbibing our decisions and our innovation towards governance. So here we are today. People are rushing into it. People want to be part of it. People want to be, especially the young people, want to be part of it. Elders doesn't even want to leave the seat. And that brought about Not Too Young to Run to tell them about Not Too Young to Run. We have been there over years. Our time never came. We never had a time to lead the people. And Not Too Young to Run now came to change a whole lot of things that actually young people can do stuff. And immediately that happens, they begin to see that we have the capacity, not only to lead, but to make things happen, to change the status quo. Where they were before is not where they are today. And that is the dividends of Not Too Young to Run. So from there we take it, and today I can beat my chest and say a good number of young people are into governance at the legislature, at the state level, and also at the national level. It is because of the sweat of those civil society men and women that came together to begin to brainstorm, which Yaga, Africa, youngsters, and people like you, if I was not left out, you were part of it. You fully participated in that program. So that is the reason for going into governance, is to change the error, to change the ill, which our elders have infringed into governance. So we are changing it, and is working for us as it is. It's not going to be a quick thing. It's a gradual process, and we are getting there.
Okay, so you've already alluded to Yaga Africa and Not Too Young to Run. So I want you to just talk a little bit more about that. Since you are the state coordinator of the Not Too Young to Run movement, how did the movement start, and how was it received by stakeholders in Anambra State? What are some of the dividends of the movement?
Okay, the time we brought it in, our elders were kicking against it, especially the elders in the State House of Assembly. When we were giving them the signal, a note coming from the national body, they were like, you want to come and push us away? Who even said you are not too young to run? The system is there, you can go and make it yourself. So a whole lot of misconception about the bill. So as time goes on, we kept pushing it. We kept pushing it. By the time they saw that what is happening in Anambra is also happening in Lagos, is also happening in Abuja, happening everywhere, all the 36 states of the country, they had to mellow down. They had no option than to accept the bill and begin to work assiduously to pass the bill. In fact, Anambra, I think we are the 18th or 17th or 18th state that passed the bill because of the pressure mounted on those people to make sure that this bill was signed. Even before then, there are grassroots campaign on same bill, okay? People calling their legislators to, look, this thing is happening now, we need to get it signed. This thing is doing this way, we need to make it happen. So they were getting calls from the grassroots people, young people, and also getting the pressure from the state team. And also they are seeing it on social media, they are seeing it on channels and all of that. They have no other option than to accept it. And they accepted it with their hearts. And that is why in Anambra State House of Assembly, we have almost members as young people. So it was yes, almost all the members are young people. But next election, I believe anybody above 50 years may be scared of running. Okay? Because the speaker is below 50, the deputy is below, you see, a whole lot of changes. So those 50, 60 years, they retired themselves. Though few of them, like 1 or 2 or 3 are there, but majority are young people. So it was well accepted, well recognized. In fact, it's a name that opened doors for any young people. My team members, sometimes they go to an office, I'm a member of Not Too Young to Run, I'm a team member and all of that. That gives the person automatic ticket to get into where he's going, any office in Anambra. And that has been what we are, leveraging on to get things happen here.
Okay, so just a follow-up question to that. So this was a long-term outcome of the Not Too Young to Run movement in Anambra State. So if somebody in different states are saying, oh, I want to get involved with Not Too Young to Run in my state, how do they make that happen?
Okay, we have state coordinators in all the states, including FCT. So we have the only thing is to just make the appropriate call, and we'll link the person up with the state coordinators. Like in Anambra, we have state team, we also have local government coordinators. And that is also what is happening across the nation. So once the person indicates interest, for instance, the coordinator from Lagos, from Rivers, called me last year, I think November. He called me and he introduced one young person from Anambra that wants to be part of us here. And we exchanged numbers, and he's there. working. He's a very active member now. So this is how we network, and it goes that way.
That is excellent, because it's important that civil society connects with the citizens, and which is what is going on with the Not Too Young movement. So kudos to you, kudos to Yaga Africa and their team, and even the fact that there is a law, which is the constitutional amendment that also enables things. So let me ask you a question. So during the election season, you all just finished a gubernatorial election, okay? So what was the citizens' response during this election?
Okay, before let me just go back a bit. Before the election, there are a whole lot of threats from all nooks and crannies of the state. There are a whole lot of killings that you wouldn't know where to attribute it to. You wouldn't know what to say about the killings. You will say it's terrorism. You will say so many names, banditry and all of that. Some will say it's political motivated and all that. So there was a whole lot of fears. Even the international organizations that came to support and give their observe the election, they were also afraid. They are afraid of themselves, and even afraid of their partners in the states. So it was the whole place was tensed by violence and all of that. But closely to the elections, things started changing. Things started changing to the level of getting to the election day properly. Though before then we are in the field. Vote Not Fight campaign, we are there in the field. Two-Face, we are around. NDI team, USAID, Yaga was on ground. People, a whole lot of partners were there to witness what would happen. So the way people escalate the news wasn't actually the way it's going here in Anambra during that. Yes,
so, give us some insight on that. Give us some insight on that. So you said there was violence. Was there some clear things that were communicated with the rest of us around the country that was happening in Anambra, and there was a bit of a disconnect? Can you share something?
Sometimes you will see people getting an old story, sharing an old story, something that happened like 2 years, 3 years ago, bringing them on board so that people will get more scared. So on that note, there are some informations they are shifting that have happened already, not at recent. It's not happening recently so far as that election is concerned. Okay, so when I see such information, I get mad. Where could these people pick this? And sometimes you hear they've shot like 20 persons in so and so local government, in so and so town. And when you make further call, there is nothing like that. I'm not saying outrightly that things are not happening. Things are happening, but people have to coil it with pepper, with sugar, with everything to make it more scary. Okay? So that was what happened in that election. And we that are on ground, by the grace of God, we visited almost all the local governments in our campaigns, because we had 21 local governments and we had 21 local government coordinators and 326 ward representatives, so far as Vote Not Fight is concerned. Okay, so the election now, after the election, there's a kind of during the election, people there was actually apathy. During the election, there was apathy because of these threats and all of that. So people were scared. Even some people who supposed to do ad hoc work with INEC, some of them pulled out because of unforeseen circumstances and all of that. Their faith couldn't carry it, so they stayed back. So, but it wasn't trust me, the day of the election, it was so peaceful. It was very peaceful, because by the engagement we had with stakeholders like police, INEC, NOA, civil defense, and media team, there was full assurance of assurance of security on the day of election. And Commissioner of Police also, as he's promising, you'll be seeing the reaction of the promise. So it's not something that he promises and another thing will happen. As he's saying, you will begin to see the outcome of what is saying. Okay, so that was what happened in the election, and during the election day, it was peaceful, but there was apathy. And at the end of the election, people accepted the candidacy of Professor Soludo as governor-elect in Anambra State, because they won't go below the standard of what we used to have in Anambra. So what they voted was what was given. To me, that election was 85% accepted by the people.
I see. Okay.
Yes. And now, for you to know that people really accepted the election, the oppositions are now teaming up to work with this with the governor-elect to make sure that there is sanity in the state. Most of the oppositions have pulled their support since they didn't get there. They pulled their support for this for Professor Soludo to make sure that Anambra State is sanitized and well governed.
Okay. So let's talk a bit about the voter apathy. Okay, do you feel like this is going to set the stage for following elections in terms of the propaganda? Like you mentioned, there was propaganda against going out to vote, bringing out past information and past stories and scaring people. Do you feel like this is going to set a tone for the other elections coming up? And how do you feel people in Ekiti or Osun can mitigate fake news that's coming out and propaganda that's coming out to prevent voters from voting?
Actually, yes. Actually, it will set a tone, and that tone might be very negative tone, because the misinformation that people place on social media is nothing to write home about. So what I'm trying to say is what transpired in Anambra can go a long way to affect any other elections across the nation. So, but it's left for Ekiti and Osun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ekiti and Osun, Ondo, which one? Ekiti
and Osun.
Osun, yes, Ekiti and Osun, to begin now to sensitize people, begin to place peaceful device on ground to mitigate the things that happen in Anambra not to repeat itself there. So what I'm saying in essence is they need to begin to talk about peace. They begin now to engage stakeholders, police, civil defense, or every election stakeholder should be on ground now, begin to talk about it. The churches, the market leaders, and a whole lot of people should start now. In Anambra case, we started late. Yes, we started late for this campaign of peace. This campaign of peace should not even have a time to anchor it. Okay. It should be something that happens every day. So far as election is concerned. So with what happened in Anambra, other states will learn lessons, and you see people learning from the positive aspect. You see other people cooking up how to mar the election and all of that. So misinformation in the media field, there are a whole lot of trainings that have happened in this field. But I think it's high time we'll also begin to, engage medias in a rightful way. Who is sending information that is not, that is not true. Those who send information that is not true we should begin to look at these people, because they place a whole lot of discomfort. They demoralize people when it comes to electioneering. They demoralize people with fake information. So I think the media team should also rise to curb this information coming out from anybody, any place.
Okay. That is something. Thank you so much for that feedback, because so now I want to take us back to the 2017 election, because you've just talked about the one that happened last year. So I want us to talk about talk about the elections. Now, I'm saying 2017, but it's actually 2019. You know, the election that happened in 2017 in Anambra State. How did that set the tone for the 2019 elections?
Okay, in 2017, we are all part of the system. We all participated, and you too was too instrumental to the whole thing. So it's whatever we placed there worked. Whatever we placed there, partners, civil societies, engagements, media engagements worked, and that gave birth to Obiano's emergence as the governor of Anambra State. He was even, in fact, one of the things that made that to happen is that Vote Not Fight was taken to his house, to his office. It was taken to his office, to his abode, where he, graciously held the placard and signed peace accord chart and all that. So it was good. It was good. I would say it was good. And the people that lost out didn't actually press it so hard to go and contest it at the court and all of that. Though there was court litigation there. So, but it wasn't as heavy as if it's do or die affair. People before even the election projected, violence. Yes. They projected violence because of some pronouncement by our group here and pressure groups and all of that. Okay, there will be no election. But close to the election, there is counter information about there will be no election, and people came out to vote. I think the turnout in 2017 was good than this turnout. Okay, we used to have Apathy, but 2007 turnout in the election was good than the one we had last year. So and that's the level of participation now gave room to the election we had in 2019. Election we had in 2019 was we didn't have governorship election because of the peculiarity in the system and all of that. So what happened was that 2019 we still had a kind of a campaign, voter education,
education for the national election, right? The one that
yes.
that Buhari was elected, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So there is voter education everywhere on social media and the churches and a whole lot. That 2019, and still that 2019 was peaceful here in Anambra, and it goes well across the country too. Because when we had the emergence of President Muhammadu Buhari, the election of President Muhammadu Buhari, it was also peaceful. Okay, despite the little challenges we had in the north, and also, so it wasn't like the election was killing as people were projecting it.
Okay.
So the 2017 was a kind of a hope. It was an election that gave hope of what happens in 2019, and that hope people held it tenaciously, and that was what made 2019 election to be somehow fair. We won't say it's all free and fair 100%. We are in Nigeria and we know the system, and system knows us. So we won't say about so that was how it rolled. I think it was peaceful, and that election in 2019 also spies up some faults, where the INEC could not do well. Where INEC could not do well, gave room to, so many amendments in 2021.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The issue of bypass came on board. You see, they should not just try and remove that bypass. It gave us results here. It works really here. But what happened? The challenges they had there is because of lack of training of staff, the people that handles that, yes, that makes it to delay and all of that. But that bypass is a very strong device that we can use to checkmate our.
I see. So, so now let me just ask a follow-up question. I want to ask a follow-up question. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Nonso, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello.
I can hear
No,
you.
I can't hear you. Hello, it's breaking.
Oh, really? Oh, really? I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear. I can hear you loud
The
and clear.
network is unfriendly. Hello.
I guess it is. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, okay. Hopefully he will come back up. Okay, it looks like there are some issues with the network, but he'll be coming back on soon. So as you can see, we're having a conversation with Nonso Orakwe. He is an experienced development practitioner based in Anambra State. And as we all know, the Anambra State election, it sets the tone for the national election. With as we observed in the Anambra election in 2017, it sets the tone for the national election in 2019. So we just had an election in Anambra State in 2021. So it's going to set the tone for elections in 2023. So we're looking at some of the things observed in the 2017 elections in Anambra State, setting the tone for 2019, and then the elections that happened in 2021, setting the tone for the national election in 2023. Our discussion with Nonso, he has alluded to the fact that in 2017, the election that we elected Obiano, there was more of a turnout in the 2017 election. So there was less voter apathy. So now we're looking here now, there's more voter apathy and there was less turnout. So he's back on now. We're going to now be talking a bit about the Electoral Act. Hi, Nonso. Sorry about that. It looks like the network was
very it's unfriendly. Yeah.
So now I wanted to ask you a question about the Electoral Act. Okay. So as you know, you're very active in the Not Too Young to Run movement and what have you, and with the activities going on with Yaga Africa. I think I'm going to be having conversations with Cynthia to see if she can allude more to it. Now, how do you feel like the Electoral Act will make things different in the 2023 election that happened in 2019? So can you just explain a bit more on that?
Sorry, come again. Sorry.
You know the Electoral Act. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. You know the Electoral Act.
Okay.
That the president, when it ascended to him, he returned it. He said there were a lot of typos, and he wanted them to take out the part where it came to the primary elections, right? So
yeah.
I want to find out from you that are there elements of the Electoral Act that will make the electoral process better, aside from the electronic dissemination of results? Are there any more elements within the Act that would make things easier for INEC or for other associated stakeholders?
There are so many things that can enhance this election, but a whole lot of things many things are good in the Electoral Act. Many things are good. But when people look at documents like this and decide to pick out one thing or the other, if they stress on one thing or the other, just know that the people are speaking. And what they mentioned was the direct, indirect consensus. So they mentioned this. It was glaring that people doesn't want this part of. Look at the way they want it. And at the end of the day, it was not assented by the president. And people felt bad. Civil societies were committed to it. A whole lot of were committed. The people will be hurt. And today, recently, I think this morning or yesterday, I was following up, and I saw that direct primaries, indirect primaries, and also consensus by the same political parties were adopted. Hello?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Hello? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Hello?
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? I can hear you loud and clear. I can hear you loud and clear.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you. We can hear you. Okay. It looks like we're having a bit of a network glitch over there in Anambra State, but he's going to talk a bit more about the Electoral Act and elements of which would enhance the national election in 2023. Now, let me tell you why I keep talking about the elections this early, because we as citizens and as a civil society, we really need to participate in the electoral process. What is happening, right? Like what Yaga did, just a couple of weeks ago on the convening they brought within of stakeholders that would have a conversation about the Electoral Act and the displeasure of why the president, it wasn't assented. So we need to continue to have these conversations so that we have full participation of citizens. Like this is being streamed on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Now on LinkedIn, if there's good governance, it will be a great place to work. Workers will be able to have their rights. People will be able to advance the way they need to advance in their area of profession, and you can thrive in a society that you're able to work and take care of your families. So this is very nonpartisan. We just want to make sure that we carry everyone along in the electoral process. So that's why, we called somebody like Nonso Orakwe, who is a leader in Anambra State, where they just had these elections, so that he's able to have a conversation, since he was one of the people that observed the elections, one of the people who conducted voter education in Anambra State, being the state coordinator of Not Too Young to Run, he's able to provide a lot of insight on that. As you know, TIA, this is Africa, our network is still a bit shaky, so it looks like there are network issues over there where he is at, but that is pretty much the core of our conversation here. So if you have any questions or any feedback on elections, how you're feeling about the electoral process in Nigeria, put it in the comments. Let's have a discussion so that we're not just let's say, oh, let's see what happens. We're saying, okay, what can we do, or how can I participate aside from just getting my PVC, which is very important, mind you. We need to be able to participate. Some people say, why am I getting my PVC? What's the point? They're going to elect who they want to. But if our PVCs is not that important, why is there vote buying? You get what I'm saying? Why is there vote buying? If people will not be spending money buying your votes if it wasn't important. So it's important for us to participate, no matter how things are right now. They only get better. Now we're advocating for electronic transmission of results in the Electoral Act. So, once that is passed, that's going to be huge for us as citizens. At least we'll be able to have some confidence in the electoral process. For right now, there are issues with INEC concerning logistics going into different parts of the country. If you have any questions about that, I did a Devsectorseries interview with the program director of the National Democratic Institute, BEM AGA, where we talked about some of the challenges that INEC faces in terms of getting materials to polling units and everything starting on time. just really understanding that Nigeria is such a big country with so many people. So some of those logistical issues may be a challenge. So that is pretty much some of the conversation that we're having with Nonso. It looks like we're having some network challenges between he and I. So while we're waiting for him, if you have any questions for him concerning the Anambra election, how that affects the how that will affect the national elections in 2023, put those in the comment sections. We will be with you all. We will be with you all shortly. So please stay tuned and we will see you shortly, okay? Hang in there with us, okay? Thanks again for watching. We'll be with you shortly.
And then the environment was cleaned up.
The first time I was hearing about this stuff, it was totally new to me.
With Social Impact Consulting. Hello everyone, my name is Efwa Elens Ede with Social Impact Consulting. I'm a development consultant with 20 years of experience working with NGOs, international NGOs, and bilateral agencies to work in project support, monitoring and evaluation, and civil society strengthening. So now, I saw that local NGOs lack the capacity to manage large-scale projects, which can in turn impact their various communities because they have the connection based on their backgrounds. So this made me create this channel so that I can add value to you for free once you subscribe to this channel and get notified of upcoming videos. I look forward to hearing from you. Hello everyone. Thank you for watching the Development Sector Series, which is Dev Sector Series. Are you interested in sponsoring 03539? So that we can maximize social impact. I look forward to hearing from you. Hello, Nonso. Thank you so much. I know the network is a bit challenging. Okay, so we're having a few network challenges right now, but as you all know, this Nigeria and sometimes that tends to happen. So it looks like be here with us shortly, but it looks like we have a question by Gombe Ibrahim. So we'll get to you, Gombe. Hang in there with us, okay? Let's see where. Okay, it looks like there are still a few network challenges. He just joined us, but there are some network challenges on that end, and there is even a bit of a network challenge on my end as well. But we do the best we can. We make sure that we have everything we can to make sure we're able to provide you with so much value. So Also, thank you so much for hanging in there. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging in there with us. You know, network issues with the Nigerian network. So, please, thanks for your patience. So, no, so let me not take up too much of our people's time. I see a question from Gombe. From Gombe, he says, "Wonderful presentation, Mr. So, how do you sustain the Anambra scenario and learning, having the rightful candidates elected across Nigerian states?"
I can't see. I can't see that probably here. Let me use
Okay,
my glasses.
yeah.
It's very tiny. Okay, can you read out for me, please?
No, I read it. Wonderful
Okay.
presentation, Mr. Nonso. How do you sustain the Anambra scenario and learning, having the rightful candidate elected across Nigerian states?
Okay, I think it's very simple. The sustenance is we're already on it because what we are doing is conscientization and engaging the government, engaging them to, you know, to give proper proper inclusion, young people's inclusion, and also carry the masses along. So what we do is like we have what we call youth agenda. We have Anambra Youth Agenda. How we develop it is during the course of our campaign, we find out that there is a whole lot of problems to solve. So there was questionnaire shared to young people across the state, local government by local government. According to local government, the challenges they are having there is quite different from others are having. So we gather them and make it a kind of, it's in a booklet where we also use to engage the governor-elect. Apart from that, there are other stakeholders who have had meetings after election review meetings with, because we are not going to do it alone. This engagement for sustainability is going to be all sectors. So as we are engaging these people are engaging these people. So it's going to be a kind of a chain reaction that we can all make sure that the government will always have this consciousness of people are watching us, people are looking. We need to always give feedback, account of what we are doing. So that's the part of sustainability we have placed on ground.
Okay, that is really something, because that's a really interesting answer to the question. So let me ask you a question. So, like, with the upcoming election coming up now, based on the Anambra State outcomes, what are your recommendations in terms of what citizens should do to make sure, yes, they have a rightful candidate, to make sure that we are able to go out and vote, so that there's voter turnout and the leader that emerges actually represents the needs of the people?
Actually, now Catch Them Young have also started engagement with the INEC, because they just resumed voter registration yesterday. Was it yesterday or day before yesterday in Anambra? So we've started that engagement not only with the INEC. The engagement on the part of INEC is to know exactly when they are starting, and they're starting in all the local governments. Okay. Then the other part is of engagement is meeting the church, because in fact, the recent outcome of registration of PVC, I think Southeast is the least among they are the least among all the other regions. Mm-hmm. So if you see the number of people that have participated in the PVC, you find out that we are nowhere. I think we have 300 and something thousand or something, where others are getting to 1 million. You see, 2 million and all of that. So to show you that a whole lot of work is needed, and which we are doing now. We are meeting the stakeholders. In fact, the meeting we will have here on Friday is a meeting that we need to co-opt other states: Ebonyi, Enugu, Abakaliki, Imo, Abia, including Anambra. to begin to do this sensitization, because we want to establish our coordinators in this local governments too. Even as much as we don't have fun, but we want to start doing something. We begin to talk about it. Some people will be hearing it, and also radio programs and stuff like that. So what we're doing now is voter education is key. Voter education is key. Let me share one experience with you. Do you know, on the day of the election, I was to observe in my area at Onitsha. Funny enough, getting to the polling booth, young people aged 25, 26, 27, 22, 24 were on the street playing football. I shared it on my wall and on my Facebook. You see how bad this code is, how bad it is. Some of them doesn't even have PVC. Some of them that have, when I approached one, he said, "Okay, I have my PVC here, but I'm not voting." So these are me. You see, we have a whole lot of work to do. He's not voting, and he meant it, that he's not voting. So we had a whole lot of work to do, which we have started gradually. Our local government coordinators are also in place to do things like that. Once the meeting is over on Friday, we'll now engage our local government coordinators to meet with the churches in their local government and begin to do something. Although there is a letter that we'll be sending to the churches, church leaders at the state level, like bishops, the general overseer at the state level, so that they can mandate the local ones at the local government to give us audience each time will come. So that letter will be moving out by next week or next 2 weeks, because we want to start on time. So what faces us now, and the other southeast region, because I'm talking to Anambra, I'm also talking to everybody in the southeast, to begin to do this engagement earlier. Partners that want to be part of it should also get whatever they want to sponsor or support with, should get it ready at this point. Not close to the election, people will begin to run helter-skelter and stuff like that. So on our part, we have started doing something to enhance the 2023 election. In fact, some persons have even called me, young people have called me. "No, sir, are you going to support me if I finally declared my interest?" I said, "Go and declare your interest. You have the support of all the young people, irrespective of your political parties. Go and declare your interest. This is what we preach. But not just because you're a young person, you want to declare your interest. No, you want young people with capacity. This is also the message we are preaching. So we are trying our best, despite we don't have funds to carry on this activity. But we are doing it the little way we can until maybe when we get funds, we can now broaden it."
Okay, that's a really good way to tie things with a bow. If you can just let me know, if you can just give us your final thoughts before we close out.
Okay, I want to encourage young people. This work is not destined for any individual. It is a collective effort. Wherever you are, as a civil society activist, as an activist, youth activist, environmental activist, whatever activism you are into, please take 2023 election as your thing. Because if you take it as your thing, other people will look at you and take it as their own thing. So don't say it is them. Don't say there will be no election. Don't say that, let them continue. If you allow them to continue, it will also affect you in one way or the other. So this time is the time that all stakeholders, everybody, will be on the same table, brainstorm, and make things happen for 2023 election to thrive and thrive very well. I wish you all the best, and all the young people across the country, let us be more proactive to make this election a peaceful and successful one.
Thank you so much, Nonso. In spite of the breaking transmission, this was a very good interview. So thank you so much for shedding some light on the Anambra election and making those connections that we did. Again, thank you. All right. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you so much. We plowed through the break-in transmission. So again, thank you so much for watching the Development Sector series. Please like and share the broadcast so we can reach more people. Join us again next week, Wednesday at 12 noon for another exciting episode. Thanks again for watching, and let's change the world together. Take care. Bye-bye.